Hey dudes, what's up and welcome to the channel. I'm just some guy. And I know I said that I was going to upload this video or do this video right after I got done with my sensory deprivation float thing, but I didn't because well, I was spending the day with my mom and I figured that, recording the video in the car and stuff would be a little bit rude because, I was spending the day with my mom. So I just got home and let the dog out. And so I figured I would, I'd update you guys. And so if you're new here, welcome, welcome. If you're not new here, well, welcome back. I'm just some guy. And so today I did an hour in a sensory deprivation float tank. And so for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a big pool full of Epsom salt water that you basically can't sink in, and they turn all the lights off, and it's a soundproof room. And you just kind of float there in basically zero gravity. And you just kind of float there. And it was really, really interesting because, man, it was dark. Like all the lights were off. There was no sound because you wear earplugs, and that's to keep the salt water out of your ear. And the room is soundproofed, right? So you've got a double dose of soundproofing. So there was no sound other than my breathing, which was really loud since it was the only sound really that I heard. Which, man, I gotta go to the doctor and get my nose sorted out, dude, because I have a hard time breathing through my nose. But I gotta get my whole respiratory checked out because dude, it was loud. It was real loud. And it was super quiet, so you could hear your heartbeat, and I could feel the heartbeat in my ear, and stuff like that. So that was kind of interesting. And so since it was so dark, I couldn't tell sometimes if my eyes were open or closed because there was no difference. And actually, so when you close your eyes, there's light behind it, like a white kind of, it's dark, but there's a whiteness. So I tested it and I could see that regardless of my eyes being closed or open. And the only way I knew my eyes were open was because I could feel that I was opening my eyes super wide. And there's no clock or anything in there, so you don't know how long you've been in there. And I don't know if and when I fell asleep, or if I fell asleep or what, but it felt like I was in there for 15 minutes, but I was in there for an hour, right? And I mean, it definitely, it was longer than 15 minutes, but it felt very fast, right? And one of the interesting things, he was mad that I was gone all day. Right, Odin? Right? Did you eat your food? You better get over there and eat that dinner. You better go eat your brown pebbles, dude. I'm talking to the internet. All right. Where was I? Oh, so I started off with just focusing on my breathing. I was trying to shut all of my brain stuff off, just focus on breathing. And one of the weird things was it was hard for me to give up control of my body parts, right? So if you're just sitting here, you have to you have some pressure keeping your arm up. My arm is not feeling great because, I'm holding up this phone right now. But when you're in the water, you're weightless, right? And you can't sink. And so mentally letting go of my arm to get rid of the weight of using it was weird to manually do that. And the same with my neck. So you're laying there and you're trying to lay there, but my shoulders would kind of come up and stuff and things. And so I had to find this sweet spot. Oh, I'm gonna get my my little stand thing, so you're gonna come with me through the house for a second. So I had to like find my sweet spot of like where to to really just kind of like let go, right? And so that was an interesting thing. And so, you know, I had some people, they were like, "Oh, did you see anything or anything?" Right? Because like, you're supposed to kind of like go into a meditative stance. I'm, talking about MMO stuff here, right? So that's way better. So usually you're supposed to like decompress everything and like meditate and like go on some brain journey or whatever. And so initially I tried to just focus on the breathing, and shut everything off, which did work. I did just kind of focus on my breathing. And so one of the interesting things was that at one point, like, I felt like my eyes were open, but like on the I could see stars, right? Like I could see points of light and everything like that. But the problem was that when I was looking at it, it felt like there was a film over it. Like, how when your window's dirty and you can see out your window, but like there's just this like kind of like gray film all over it. Now, that probably, most people who clean their windows won't understand what I'm talking about. But for those of you real OGs that just don't clean your windows because it's just going to get dirty again anyways, like, what I'm talking about. And so, like, as I was like breathing and I was like looking at these stars, I was trying to like mentally like wipe away this film, um, which kind of worked a little bit. And I kind of poke through. I remember when I was thinking about it, I could kind of poke through in some areas, and like some stars would be like very vivid in my mind, but I couldn't get rid of all of the film. And I remember as I was doing this and I was trying to like utilize my like left hand in my mind, like my left hand kind of jerked in the water, and then like I kind of lost it a little bit, like I like lost the film and it was still there, but I distinctly remember like my arm jerked, and but I could still see it, right? So I knew that it wasn't like a dream, right? Where like, if you're sleeping and then like something startles you in your bed and you're like, what's going on? You kind of know that you're there, right? And that was the other thing too, where I didn't know if I was dreaming or not because everything was pitch black. So like if I'm asleep in bed and I wake up, well, I'm going to at least see like my pillow, or I'm going to be able to feel my pillow or something along those lines. So I'm going to know in my head, I'm in bed. This was a dream, whatever. But there was nothing like that in this sensory deprivation pod. And so that's why I don't know if when I fell asleep or if what was a dream and what wasn't a dream. But the part that like really kind of weirded me out, right? So like I've talked about in the past, like, visualizing the apple, that's a thing that I go back to a lot. And so at one point I was trying to visualize the apple. And I was getting a little frustrated because all I could see was white, like at least like a dull white. It's like that light, that white light when you close your eyes. And I was trying to like condense all of this into the apple, right? And I would kind of get there, and then it would like shoot off to the left. And I would kind of get there, and then it would get all like distorted and then like dump off. But I remember, and this is one of the parts where I don't know if I was dreaming or not, but I remember staring into the black, and I remember being frustrated at myself for not being able to fully form this apple that I wanted to form. And I kind of out of the corner of my eye, I saw like this light. And what it was it was this hand, this white hand, kind of like a almost a skeletal hand, pulled like kind of came out from underneath a curtain, like the black curtain. Looks like the black that I saw, like kind of had this bottom thing, like where it was a curtain. And I remember distinctly being very like taken aback because the apple that was in this like skeletal hand was so detailed, and like it was everything that I wanted to be able to visualize as an apple in my mind, but it was right there. And I didn't know if this was a thing that was happening or if this was a dream, but like as soon as I went to reach out for the apple, and I remember seeing my hand like reach out for this apple, it just disappeared. And then I remember being like really mad at myself for not, doing anything. But this apple was so vivid, like the hand and like the light that was coming out from underneath, like the curtain of darkness, which is why I kind of think at that point I probably fell asleep and this was probably a dream. But I remember like jostling awake again, and I felt like my eyes were like wide open, and I visualized my hand. And I remember trying to, like, I was kind of working on visualizing this apple in my own hand. Like, I visualized my hand perfectly fine, or, well, a hand that kind of looks like mine. But I couldn't get a full apple. I got, like, kind of like a shriveled up apple. But I remember after seeing the hand with the apple, it became a bit easier to visualize, but I couldn't get like the whole apple in there. Like I couldn't get anything like even close to what the other hand had done. And so I was kind of working on that for a little while. And then I remember that I started like working on something else. Oh, that's right. I had like while I was doing that, I heard a noise. And it was in my like left ear. And I remember stopping everything that I was doing to just kind of listen to this sound. And it was just like kind of like a tap 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 tap, but it was in a rhythm, and I was trying to figure out what the rhythm was and like where it was coming from. And in focusing on that, I forgot to breathe. And so I remember like distinctly just being like and like realizing that I hadn't breathed in a while. And that happened a couple of times actually. Um, and then like as I was listening to that, um, like the stars were there still. Well, so the stars weren't there when I was visualizing the apple, but the stars were there when I was listening to the sound. And then next thing I knew, it was over. Like a speaker came on and was like, "Hey, you got 2 minutes before we turn on the filter and kick you up out of here." Um, but like to me, it just felt like it was over super quick. So it was awesome. Like I thought it was really really cool. Like it was definitely something I would do again, and if it was closer to me, I would probably do this a lot. My skin feels really nice and smooth. I feel exfoliated and refreshed from it. But then I went and ate like a whole bunch of shrimp afterwards, and then I got like the sleepies from all the shrimp that I ate. But it was definitely an experience, that's for sure. Um, you know, it is what it was pretty cool though. I don't know what I was expecting going in. I had like some expectations, but I was like, it's not going to be anything. Like I'm not going to go in here and awaken my inner Merkaba and disconnect myself from the Matrix. Then once the pod opens, Sam Jackson, I know that's not who was in the Matrix, but Sam Jackson's going to be there, and be like, yo, red pill or blue pill, motherfucker. And then, I'll wake up and have to fight aliens and stuff like that. And then I'll be like, yo, dog, can you put me back in the Matrix, please? Because this sucks. That wasn't really what I was expecting or anything like that. But I think overall it was a good experience. And I definitely would like to interact with it more. I feel like even if I was dreaming all of the stuff that I was doing, it was a very lucid dream. Like I was in control of that dream. And I also want to maybe psychoanalyze what that skeletal apple hand from behind the curtain symbolizes, because that's like one of the things that like really, really sticks out to me, like was very prominent in that session. And the thing is, though, is like, I don't even know. Like, don't you have to get to like deep REM sleep in order to like start dreaming? I can't imagine that I did that in like a 30-minute period, you know? Um, so who knows? Who knows what it was? But it was really cool. And it was definitely worth it. And if they were closer, I'd go to this thing like, every week or so. It would have been cooler if I would have gotten maybe like a massage chiropractor first, because I definitely had some like tension in my back and shoulders that I had to work on to like kind of. Oh, that was the other thing too, because it was so quiet in there. Like I did like a couple of things where I like cracked my back a little bit, and the popping of each vertebrae thing was just so loud in my ears. It was kind of wild, but man, I gotta go to my doctor's and get my nose fixed. I got a deviated septum, which makes it hard to breathe through my nose, and so this just made me realize that I need to be able to breathe through my nose more. But anyways, my foot hurts because the boot that I wore was. I remembered why I got a different pair of boots, because that pair of boots sucks and is too narrow and it hurts my foot. So I am going to go play some video games probably and just decompress from the rest of my day. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. I got some stuff I gotta do tomorrow around the house. I still gotta clean up the rest of this jazz. And start working on setting some knife making stuff up in the basement. But we'll see. Anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. I hope you are having a great weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy, homies. Peace out.